Boom, we're at it again. Welcome, my good friends. Today we're going to be talking about trust again. This is the series for trusts. You have seen some of the other videos that we have done around trusts. I do have a trust myself. I actually have two of them. And within this trust, I've got a very good friend of us here at the TJ Tribe. She's an attorney. She helps us to navigate the world of trusts. And if this is something that you're trying to consider or to understand what it's all about, hang 10. I got your back today because we're going to talk today specifically in terms of who you should be putting into the trust. So in the trust, there's quite a number of people. So you've got yourself as the person who is the founder of the trust. And then from there onward, what do you become if you're a founder? So if you're a founder, the first thing that you've just done is you've gone, you thought about this. You sat at home and you're like, I want to build something. And within this building of something, I want to build it for the next generation and obviously for myself. And you've gone to an attorney, like as we've been speaking on the previous videos. And now the thing that we are wanting to talk about is who can help you in the trust. The first couple of people that we spoke about earlier on in the other videos was people like trustees. So who qualifies? Today's video, we're jumping into the thinking of who the trustees should be. So I know already you're thinking your bra, your cousin bra, and so on and so on. They can become, don't hate. When I go to Deb, people always like cousin bra and so on. I get confused like, okay, today we're not talking about that. Let's talk about who should we be putting into the trust. I got my good friends, our legal advisor at the TJ Tribe. She is qualified attorney. I'm not. She is. And she is going to help me to decode this thing about trustees in a trust. Are you ready? Let's go. Pateka, good morning, good afternoon. Nda, how are you? Welcome.
Good afternoon, Molweni. Thank you so much for having me today.
Awesome stuff. Pateka, we're going to be talking specifically about the trustee. Where does the word trustees come from? I think a lot of us, we are familiar with the trustee. Number one, if you probably have a medical aid, year in, year out, they send out this letter to say, vote for the trustees. Or maybe we stay in a gated area and we've been approached by other landlords, say, do you want to be a trustee? Is this the same thing that we're talking about here? Because we're talking about the trust. I've got a bit of money, I've started building, and now I've got a trust. And there is a requirement for us to have a trustee. Yes. What is a trustee?
Thank you so much, TJ. Firstly, let's talk about who are the parties in this trust. I think let's recap from our previous videos.
Right.
We have 3 parties that are required to be in the trust when you set up a trust. So there is what we call a founder of a trust, there is what we call a trustee of a trust, and there is what we call a beneficiary of a trust. Now coming to the trustee, a trustee then is a person in which you'd want trust to be able to be a custodian of the trust assets.
Right.
So meaning it must be someone who will be able to look out for the trust assets for the benefit of the beneficiaries.
Oof, that's already a big pain there, particularly as you speak, because I'm already thinking, I can't trust my brother, I can't trust my aunt, I can't trust anybody, right? And now we're supposed to be creating this trust, and we're saying we need to have third parties to come in and manage stuff for me.
Yes.
Or at the beginning, it's going to be side to side with me, right, as a trustee. But when I'm gone, these people are going to be around.
True.
I think a lot of us, we've got trust issues.
I also have trust issues, I must mention.
Yeah.
The most important thing in appointing them is to ensure that you are not just appointing a person because a person is related to you.
Oh,
Appoint a person in which you trust to be able to carry forward. Now we're talking about you as a founder of the trust not being there.
Right.
to be able to carry forward your vision
Right.
for the benefit of your beneficiaries as the founder. So meaning that person, it must be someone that you know, even if you are no more, that person will be able to carry that vision forward.
Which are very few and far in between, Pateka.
True.
But the good thing is that we did mention in our previous videos that on this particular series of the trust, that there's something that is called a trust deed.
Yes.
And how does the trust deed play along with the trustee?
A trust deed, the nice thing, because I mentioned in the previous video that it's a constitution of a trust.
Right.
It helps you to one, it sets out the framework in which you, as the trustees and the founder, you should operate within the trust.
Right.
And it gives you the powers, it gives you responsibilities, it gives you obligations, it also gives you limitations. So meaning you need to ensure that whenever there's something to be done, that's your reference book. You go back to the trust deed, you find out if we want to buy a property, what do we do as trustees? Then it's going to guide you that you need to firstly have a resolution signed by all trustees appointing one of you to be able to represent the rest of the trustees. So the trustees is like your reference book.
Amazing. So which basically means that if I put the right rules in my trust deed, it actually doesn't really matter. Of course, it does matter who you're going to put as a trustee, but anybody can fulfill that role because now there is a guideline in terms of
I wouldn't say anybody. I wouldn't say anybody because not as much as the trust deed is there to guide you.
Right.
Again, you will get those ones, the trustees now. Because remember, as the custodians of the trust assets, they need to ensure that everything that is happening in the operation of the trust is done for the benefit or in the interest of those beneficiaries. So meaning you need people that, one, are not having any interest in the assets of the trust. So meaning I cannot, because if I'm appointing my let me say my husband, and then my husband, maybe he would want to be the trustee and the beneficiary. So he doesn't have, he does have an interest in the trust assets. So meaning his influence might not be the influence to carry out my vision.
Right.
So therefore, you need to have people that you know, yes, the husband can be there or the wife can be there, but there must be other people that you trust and you know that they will be able to work together with this person who has interest in the trust assets in order to further the business of the trust.
Pateka, me and you, we are people of faith. In the Bible, it speaks heavily about custodians.
Yes.
And I am reminded that you are reinforcing the point of custodian.
Yes.
And if we go back to all the four Gospels, there was a parable of when a story, for some of you might know it, parable story. And Jesus speaks of this parable where certain people were given coins on what to go and do.
Yes.
And others went on to do more with the same coin, and others went to hide.
They just decided to
right, to safekeep it.
Yes.
And I think I always say to people, you know, sometimes we go to church and all these things, but we do not employ some of the thinking that we get in some of these teachings. If I am hearing you correctly, if I'm going to be choosing a right custodian, I want to go back to that parable and say there's like 4 people here. In these 4 people, which custodian am I happy to put into my trust? So now you've got a framework of a custodian.
Yes. In terms of that parable, the custodian, the one who's not going to just hide it. Because if you remember in terms of that parable, they weren't the ones who brought the money back without interest.
Yeah.
Then the master was not happy.
100%.
So you need to have people, as I mentioned, that you need people that will further the business.
Yes.
So in furthering the business, then it means because the trust deed allows you to be able to invest, reinvest, you know, borrow money, buy assets, and all those kind of things. You need to have those people who have a better interest in order to further this business. Again, I'm stressing it for the benefit of these beneficiaries.
Amazing stuff. So maybe, particularly, let's go into the detail of who can be a trustee. So let's talk in the sense of, I think a lot of people that come to here on the TJ Tribe, it's generally the husband or the wife. And let's pick it in that context of who is allowed to be a trustee. And my friends, on the next video that we're going to be running, you want to watch it because we're going to be talking about who can become a beneficiary. Not everybody can become, but we'll talk about it in the next video, so don't forget to check it out. Now, particularly, let's come back. Who can become a trustee in the light of, I'm just a young man, I've just left university, and let's call him Tabo. Let's give this guy a name.
Yes, Tabo.
Right. So Tabo has just left university, and now he's got a new job. He's working at Standard Bank, and he's been now in middle management. And now Tabo hears about these things. He's watching here today, Tabo. How can we help him? The baby steps. Obviously, this is going to be different, my friends, to anybody. But how can we generalize helping Tabo? Who can be his trustee? He's married, 2 kids maybe.
Okay. So what I would, firstly, let me, so that you can get a better context in this. So you can be the founder.
So Tabo can become the founder.
Tabo can become a trustee at the same time.
Right.
And Tabo can become a beneficiary at the same time.
Right. Okay.
So now you are deciding to be those 3 people. So meaning the founder, the trustee, and the beneficiary. Now you need to look for others.
How many more others are you supposed
You know,
to
there is no much of a limit in terms of how many more. There is no limit in terms of the act. The only thing that is important is you don't want a bunch of people that are just gonna not be able to take decisions because they are just in disagreement. So it's always recommended to have a specific number in which you know that, you know, if I have 3 people, then these 3 people will be able to carry on or to carry the business of the trust. So there isn't a limit of a number, but it's also important to also understand the administrative part of the trust so that you don't appoint 5 people, of which out of these 5 people, only 3 are going to be available. Because remember, as trustees, you are acting jointly. Okay.
So that's the reason, my friends, why Pateka is saying don't choose many people, because the administration part of it is become tedious.
Yes.
If you are supposed to have X number of trustees for a meeting, now you can't have a meeting because the others are in Durban, overseas, and all of those things. So Tabo has just become trustee number 1. Let's assume that he's going to choose 3.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Let's assume that he's going to choose 3 trustees. So meaning he's going to be the.
Wait. But can he choose? Can he just have 2 trustees?
He can. He can have 2.
So Tabo and the next person.
Yes.
So
it can be Tabo and
So what is the qualities of the next person? Does the trustee does the trust framework dictate who he needs to have as number 2?
Yes, it does dictate.
Okay.
Reason being, if Tabo decides that he wants to be a founder, the trustee, and the beneficiary,
right,
then he needs to have what we call now an independent trustee.
All right.
Now, someone who's independent from all this setup, so meaning he doesn't have an interest of what is happening at all here. Remember, in the previous videos, we mentioned that you can't contract within yourself.
Yes.
So because
referee and player at the same time.
Yes, that's correct. That is why you can't just appoint any other person. This person must be a person who is not related to you at all. So that is why then it is a requirement that that trustee, who is a second trustee, is an independent trustee.
So let's define independent.
So independent, one, it requires
like an example, because you have given us a definition of that person must not be related to you. So it's not my brother, my cousin, my aunt.
Yes.
It's someone that I don't know, Joe Brown from the street.
It can be your attorney.
Okay.
It can be your accountant.
Right.
Or it can be any, let me say maybe a friend, a trusted friend. Can be a trusted friend or a trusted colleague, whoever. But it must just not be someone related to you. So you
Right.
can choose any professional person between your attorney or your accountant.
Okay.
And then if you can't find those two, then you can choose to have your trusted friend, or you can choose to have your trusted colleague.
Okay. What is, so my role as the founder is, because obviously I'm Thabo, I've got this age of building.
Yes.
So my role is pretty defined. I know exactly what I'm wanting to do. It is to build and protect for my future family members.
Yes.
But in this case, now I'm bringing in a third party, someone else who is independent. What is their role really here?
Their role, because whether you are an independent trustee or not, you
Yeah.
are still a custodian.
So
So their role is still the same. You, whatever action, whatever operation that is happening within this trust, it must be done by all trustees, whether
Okay.
you are independent or not independent. So whatever has to happen within the trust, jointly the trustees will have to take an action. That is why there's always a resolution for anything that you need to do within the trust, whereby you all trustees are in agreement in terms of whatever it is that you are deciding to do. Yes. Okay. So again, going back to what you were asking me as to who this person is. So this person, on the previous video, I mentioned that I like our form I think it's J417 if I'm not mistaken. So that form is an acceptance of the appointment as a trustee. So in that form, you firstly, one, needs to declare that you are not an independent trustee, not related, you know, those kind of things, tick the boxes.
Okay.
And then from there is a confirmation, a declaration of the obligation, or I would say obligations, in terms of you agree that yes, I will do this, yes, I will do that. So meaning you will administer the trust, you will report to the master whenever there's an issue. And then again, there is a part where it says, were you ever insolvent? So where you do you have a criminal record? You know, it also, because you need to tick that you don't have. So meaning you cannot appoint someone that you know was
Involved in some fraudulent stuff.
exactly, or was insolvent, or has a criminal record. You cannot do that.
Right.
Yes.
My good friends, that is, I think I just want to say, if you've been thinking about who you can be a trustee with. So number one, yourself, you can be a trustee. And number two, you definitely need an independent trustee. Can you have multiple independent trustees? Or is just this
It's
one
just
is good
one.
enough?
Yeah, it's just one. Good
Okay.
enough, yeah.
Can Tabo's wife become a trustee as well?
Yes.
Alongside this independent?
Yes.
So meaning
So
that
meaning
it's
now
three.
we're talking about three, yes.
Right, so Mr. and Mrs. Independent.
Independent, yes.
Can we also have my aunt as number 4?
Yes,
As a trustee?
you can. Yes, you can have your aunt as number, as long as there's an independent trustee between the three of you, because you are
Right.
related to your aunt. So you need this person who is not related to you, the person who doesn't have any interest, because remember, your aunt might have an interest, because the most
Sure.
important thing is there mustn't be an influence in terms of the decision making, whereby
Right.
you're diverting now in terms of your vision. Because the most important thing is whatever it is that you are doing, you're not doing it for yourselves as the trustees.
So let me jump into the elephant in the room, because I know my people. Does the independent trustees get paid?
Yes, they get paid, unfortunately.
Right.
Yes, they get paid. It depends also
Right.
on the independent trustee in terms of how he would want to be paid, because I can't say how they are getting paid, but they do get paid.
So I've seen other companies, for you to become a trustee, if you appoint them, they have a monthly payment that goes out to them, 50 rand,
Some,
100
yes.
rand. I've seen others that say, no, I do not take any payments, but as and when we draw up resolutions, my friends, On the next video, we're going to be talking about resolutions. So hang 10, watch the next video that's coming up. And as we are drawing up resolutions and attending to meetings, I will then charge. So it's kind of like a pay as you go. Right?
Some they do monthly payments.
Yeah.
Some they take a yearly payment.
Yeah.
Some they do a pay as you go. It just
Amazing.
depends. Yeah, it just depends. Obviously, I guess if you are about to appoint an independent trustee, the most important thing is to check how they are going to require their payment.
This is the uncle in me now talking, right? So if you've been thinking about having a trust, go for it. There's plenty of benefits. Number two, you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your future family and that kind of thing. But over and above that, you might be drawing back and you're saying, I need to pay this thing now and pay the independent. Why do I need to do this? My friends, I want to state this to you. The risk of you not doing that is far much greater than you doing it now. Think of this as you're starting off now. You're going to see this as an expense because obviously your business is not running. But at some point, if it's just to follow the process of you now having a business, your business is paying you, it's a no-brainer for you to have people now working alongside of you because they're going to give you the expertise. So you're paying for that, right? They're going to be there for you when you're gone. The trust is going to be there to pay them for all of that. So don't be a cheapskate. Just pay. I pay. I've got 2 trusts. I already pay. It is I, TJ. I'll check you out on the next video where we are going to be talking specifically about beneficiaries.